Hey there and welcome. Today we are diving headfirst into the world of acids and bases. We're going to break down what they are, how you can spot them, and, trust me, why they're a much bigger part of your life than you probably realize. So let's get right into it.
Okay, picture this. You've just demolished a fantastic meal. Maybe you had one or, three too many tacos. And then, it starts. That really uncomfortable burning feeling in your chest? Yep, that's indigestion.
Well, that feeling has a name. It's called acidity, and it's all because of excess acid in your stomach. So the big question is, what do you do about it? How do you find a remedy?
All right, let's say you have two options in front of you. You could grab some lemon juice, which is an acid, or you could mix up some baking soda and water, which is a base. So which one do you reach for? Well, here's the secret. Acids and bases are opposites. They actually cancel each other out. So to fight off all that extra acid in your stomach, you need a base. And that makes baking soda our clear winner here.
You know, that simple little home remedy is the perfect jumping off point for us. To really get a handle on what acids and bases are, we've got to start with their most basic and, let's be honest, their most delicious properties.
So here's the classic textbook difference, right? Acids, like a lemon, they taste sour, and bases, they tend to be bitter. But, and this is a big but, please do not go around tasting random chemicals. That's a terrible idea. So scientists came up with a much safer way to tell them apart, the litmus test. It's this special paper that gives us a super simple visual clue. Acids turn blue litmus paper red, and bases turn red litmus paper blue. Easy.
Okay, so this whole idea of something changing color to give us a hint, that's a really powerful tool in chemistry. And it goes way beyond just a little strip of litmus paper. Let's dive into some other things that can act like our own chemical detectives.
So, these magical color-changing substances, they have a name, acid-base indicators. And I love this analogy. They're basically chemical detectives. Their whole job is to change their appearance, to give us a signal telling us, hey, an acid is here, or watch out, there's a base. It's just a really simple, visual, and most importantly, safe way to figure out what you're dealing with.
And the coolest part? You don't need some high-tech lab to find these things. Nope, nature is absolutely packed with them. Litmus itself actually comes from lichen, but you can find indicators right in your own kitchen. I'm talking turmeric, red cabbage leaves, or even in your garden. The petals of flowers like hydrangeas and petunias do the exact same thing.
Okay, let's bring this home with a really common household mystery. I'm almost certain you've dealt with this one yourself. The classic case of the stubborn curry stain.
All right, so there it is, a bright yellow curry stain right on a clean white shirt. That vibrant yellow color, it comes from turmeric. And what did we just learn about turmeric? That's right, it's one of nature's very own indicators.
So what's the first thing you do? You grab some soap and you start scrubbing, right? Of course. But here's the chemistry behind it. Soap is a base. So what you're actually doing is adding a base directly onto that natural turmeric indicator. And then, poof, the magic happens. The stain completely changes color, from that bright yellow to a deep reddish brown. That is the turmeric doing its job. It's reacting to the base in the soap and screaming, hey, we've got a base over here. And it only goes back to yellow once you rinse all that soap away with a ton of water. How cool is that?
All right, so we've seen how color can help us solve these little chemical mysteries. But what if you can't use your eyes?
I mean, what if the solution you're testing is already, say, dark purple? Or what if the person doing the experiment is visually impaired? How do you tell what's going on then? Well, it turns out chemistry has a really clever solution.
Let me introduce you to the olfactory indicator. That's a fancy way of saying, instead of changing color, these things change their smell. Your nose is the detector. You literally sniff out the science.
And just like before, we're not talking about some rare, expensive chemical. We're talking about stuff you definitely have at home. Finely chopped onion, vanilla extract, clove oil. I mean, take the onion. It has that really strong, characteristic smell, right? Well, in an acid, you can still smell it. But if you add it to a base, the smell completely disappears. It's a whole different way to see what's happening in a reaction.
Okay, so let's step out of the kitchen for a minute and head into a more traditional lab setting. We're going to explore one of the most fundamental reactions there is. What exactly happens when you mix an acid with a metal?
Let me walk you through this classic experiment. So you take a test tube with some sulfuric acid and you drop in a few little pieces of zinc metal. Immediately, you'll see it start to fizz. Bubbles of gas are forming. Now, to find out what that gas is, we can pass it through some soapy water. This traps the gas inside little soap bubbles. And now for the fun part. You bring a burning candle or a lit splint right up to one of those bubbles and pop! You hear this awesome little pop sound. And that pop is the unmistakable signature of hydrogen gas.
And that one simple experiment reveals a fundamental rule of chemistry. Whenever an acid reacts with a metal, the result is always a salt plus hydrogen gas. It's a core concept, and it's all proven with that one little pop.
So, think about it. We've gone from the sour taste of a taco topping all the way to the pop of hydrogen gas. But the biggest takeaway here is that none of this is just for a classroom or a lab. This stuff is happening in your world every single day.
Really, the main thing to remember is that the principles of acids and bases are everywhere. The acidity in your stomach giving you heartburn, the fact that your soap is a base, the sour tang of vinegar in your salad dressing. It is all the exact same chemistry we've been talking about, just playing out in different ways.
And understanding this stuff isn't just about memorizing facts for a test. It's really about getting a new perspective, about seeing your own home, your own kitchen, your own life through a brand new scientific lens.
Because now you have the tools. You can start noticing these things. So the next time you're cleaning or cooking or even just eating a meal, take a second and just wonder, okay, what are the acids and bases at work right here? What other amazing chemical reactions are hiding right under my nose in plain sight? Keep that curiosity alive. Thanks for joining me.